We left off Tezvov, 15, page 251. Lo yito yosi mi lulav echod. When you take the lulav, the four species, you should not take more than one lulav, the esrik echod, not more than one esrik. Av ba'arova v'adas. But in regard to the arova, how many arovas do we have? We have 2 arovas, 3 adasim. That's what we do it. Or he says, but in regard to the arova and das, kol ma she'yirtzeh. You can add as many as you want. Minimally, it's 2 and 3. This is good. That's either. We'll see. V'yesh. No, there's no mahajim nahajim. He's into the latka mode already. He's thinking about latkes already. V'yesh mi sheposel lo niach hadas shote balulav. Knows about shlosha badi. Avos. The Gemara speaks about hadas shota. What's hadas shota? Shota is a person who's unstable. So Rashi explains. You look at a person, looks normal, but you just observe him a little bit, and you realize he's not normal. He's unstable. So that's hadas shota. Hadas shota means it's hadas. It resembles a hadas. When you look at its leaves, you see it's not. The leaf is not. Initially, it seems to be the same. Then when you look more closely, it's not. So it's hadas shota. It's like a person's unstable. You look at him, you think he's like everyone else. Then you preserve him just a little bit, you realize he's not. So therefore, it's considered like a different species. Hidur is when you add species, but it's the same. So you have more of the same. But if it's hadas shota, that you should not. Al shlosha b'din ovos. V'yishmatir, others say you can, because it's still within the family, even though it doesn't meet the criteria of what a kosher hadas is, but it's not like considered like another species, because we're talking about baltosif. If you see it like another species, then you're not permitted, correct? But those who are meticulous in their observance, they stick to the minimum 3 hadasim, 2 arovas, even though you're permitted. But medagtakim, you'd say, but if it's hidur, add as many as you want. You know, the more the merrier. Let's see the Mishna Berura. No, same species is not. I mean, Tosas asks a question. We blow 100 kilos, 100 blasts on Rosh Hashanah. Tosas, what about Baltosif? Tosas says when you repeat the same mitzvah, do multiples of the same, that's not Baltosif. So when you introduce something which is not part of it, like I give you the example the Gemara says over there regarding a Kohen adds his own a 4th bracha. It's not he's repeating the same bracha. There are 3 which the Torah says, and then he adds a 4th of his own. That's Baltosif. Because that's not what the Torah prescribes. So as long as it's within the profile of what the Torah prescribes, you could do it multiple times. It's not Baltosif. We'll see. You see how thirsty he is? He wasn't able to. He's so thirsty to know the answer. We'll see. I'm at the closing aliyah. It's all rabbinical brachas. No, it's all rabbinical. He was talking about on a Torah level. Yeah, that's the whole idea. Lo yitel Yosef lulav echad v'esrech dechsiv u'lekachtem lechem yom rishon priyates mashma echad lo shnayim. The word seems to be the Torah is saying 1 and not 2. V'uadil lulav dechsiv kapos timorim choser vov. Doesn't say, even though it's kapos in the reading, it's plural, but since it's spelt in the singular, dainu echad v'yesh omrim de'over b'zeh gam al baltosif. Others say it's written in the singular, in the ksiv, it's singular. Okay? V'yesh omrim de'over gam zeh baltosif avarov lo nosba Torah kitzvo. Torah doesn't say there's a minimum. Doesn't say why. By kaimel bina shtei arovos dechsiv. What's arveg? Arveg nochal. Minimally it's 2, but Torah doesn't say not more than 2, right? It means minimally. There it says pre-eitz hodor. Pre-eitz, right? Or wait, haynu dvochik sagi demir arveg shtaim avol tvei gamkin shapidom huadin badas dechsiv araf eitz avos. Even though gamkin yochel lahosif b'mer kamashi yutzeh. So you have to know how do you even know 3. Okay, so good. So once we're going more than 3, so then you can go, sky's the limit. Okay, since you have to know the limit. The reason why you're not permitted to add the hadas, which doesn't meet the characteristics, the criteria of what hadas is, because they see it as another species. No, it's not another species, but rather it's possible. Do godly baruga achas b'novachas. El shetorah posloso. The Torah just invalidates it. Vayin leil simtov reish mevov eis nikra dashota min anochon lachshav lechatchilo she'eno ogdon l'shem mitzvah el noy balma. He says if you do it, you should have in mind you're not doing it to add. It should be one of the species, but rather only to enhance it. After the Rishonos File, the after the Noy also Latchila Ogdon, Time Poskin in so okay. Okay. It says Arve. Arve is minimally 2. Arve Nochal. Arova, the willow, right? The species. It's Arve. Arve minimally is 2. According to that, but he's specifically in mind. You're not adding it as what, but rather only to enhance it. The Beralocha speak, it says, the Mechaber concludes, Hamadaktikim, those who are meticulous in the performance of the mitzvah, they make sure they don't take more than 2 or 3. 2 Arovas and 3 Hadasim. So he goes to explain why. He says maybe it's Al-Pisod, Kabbalah, on a Kabbalistic level, maybe that, or maybe some other reason.
Because the leaves are Hadasim and 3. Right? 3 leaves come out of
Each level.
Even though it's 3 branches,
So based on the Psukim. Based on the Psukim. No, no. He doesn't disagree. Okay, let's see. Zman netilas lulav. Ubo beis sifim. Mitzvah lulav bayom v'lo b'layla. Right? It's a day mitzvah. Right? It says lekachtem lachem biyom. Biyom means during the day. The Gemara says. Cholayim koshel tilas lulav. As long as you before shkia, before sundown, it's the time take. Afterwards also. It's a suffix. So if it be the first day, it's suffix the rest of l'chumrah. Right? During the twilight period. It would be the subsequent days, one doesn't take it. I mean, there's no iser. Right? Because suffix rabban l'kula, you have no chiyuv, you have no obligation. I mean, the first day, a bracha you won't say after shkia. Right? So brachas lohokya, it's only rabbinical. But in terms of the taking it, you're obligated to take because it's still maybe day. When? Twilight? No, wait. You'd say. No, you would not say. No. Because Savi brachas l'kula even on Doraisa. The mitzvah you have to do. Right? But the bracha you don't do. The second day you don't even do the mitzvah during the twilight period. Because Savi Jarban l'kula, the whole obligation to take it is only rabbinical. Okay? Shemlo notel shachris, yitlan achkach, umikol mokom, zrizim magdim l'mitzvos. But when we do a mitzvah, we do it with what? We do it with zeal, so you do it earlier. If we take it in the morning, uzmadu, what is the time? It's a Mishnah. It's a Mishnah, Megillah. What is the zman? What is the time? The Mishnah netzachama, from sunrise. Because the Mishnah enumerates many things we do from netz, although it's permitted before, let's say Milah. You circumcise a child at nighttime, it's not a valid circumcision. So when should be the earliest time you circumcise? Not before netz. But b'di'evet, after Amud HaShach, after dawn, is valid. Why? Because when you're dealing before nets, the time, it may not be sufficient light. You may think it's already dawn, and it's pre-dawn. And if it's pre-dawn, it's not valid. Same thing. If you do it before nets, it's obvious, it's day. The day has begun. Before, it's always questionable. Well, I feel it is, but it may not be. Therefore, to play it safe, Chazal said, start at Netz, at sunrise. Post facto, if you took it and it was verified that it was after dawn, you don't have to, one doesn't have to take the lulav again. Whatever, it's a question what it is. No, it's usually 72 minutes. Depends where you are in the world. Certain locations, it's much less. Like in Eretz Yisrael, from dawn to sunrise is a much less period. It takes much less time. Okay? The Ika mitzvah b'shas halil. He says the main mitzvah is during halil. Even though he said earlier, one says the bracha before, because again, because that's when you're praising. Of course, it says that. What is the basis? Right? No. We had already quoted a posuk. Atzei yor, Iranu atzei yor. The trees in the forest, they praise God. Iranu atzei yor. So we say what Hallel. Hallel is praising Hashem. Right? That's the reason why you wave it. But it's Iranu, Rina. We're praising. Person has to rise early to travel. Notlo b'shol HaMorashachar, because that's b'di'evet. Person's not going to be able, he can't take the lulav with him on the trip. You have to catch a flight. And you can leave your house, it's after dawn, and because you're not going to have the lulav once you're on the flight. You can't travel with the lulav. So then, because you have no choice, this is the halacha also with many people really don't do the right thing. The halacha is, you're not supposed to say Shemon Esrei before Netzachama. But what about if you're traveling and you have no choice? Then, as long as it's slightly light, you're permitted to say Shemon Esrei. You're permitted. So over here, it's the same thing. Many people, they rise for nets. They daven early. So many times, it's not a problem. Right? Because it's saying Shemon Esrei after nets or at nets. Today, person goes and davens at 6:15 in the morning, and they hit Shemon Esrei at 6:45. It's before Netzachama. Why? Because we do that every day. Where you're rushing. The man stands around afterwards and drinks a cup of coffee for half an hour. Right? So where are you going? You're catching you're driving out at 8:30. Wherever you're going. They're not permitted. La loch, the evidence valid. But it's not, he's not doing the right thing. No, let's say you have to catch. No, that's no problem. No, that's not a problem. You have no choice. If you have no choice, that's mashkum l'derech. You have to travel. You have to leave early. You have no choice. But these people have a choice. What do? They leave later anyway. So daven, we don't like to daven the later minyan. So make another minyan and daven later. That's Tal's and Tefillin. Tal's Tefillin is way before Netz. That's 45 minutes before Netzachama. You have to take your Tal and Tefillin or your Tefillin to work. What are you supposed to do? In Europe, at times you can't daven before 8:45 in the morning. You can't. It's dark. Literally, it's dark. So you have to work out. You have to take out a certain period of time and daven during that period of time. You can do many things. You can do many things before. So you daven without a minyan. What are you supposed to do? You have no choice. That's a new story. I mean, it's so early that it's too early to daven, period. Yakir. Yeah, okay, Yakir. Right. They have other problems besides. Probably. You see, it could be that it's no worse than going to work. What difference is it if you have to travel or if you have to go to work? It's a situation. You can't deal with it unless you davened earlier. It will be similar. Yeah, correct. I mean, the Rush says because people are not coming back. So therefore it's a b'di'evet situation. But let's say you could work it out. Correct. Because we have to deal with people there because we're dealing with people's behavior. factually, if people are not coming back, we have to accommodate people until they're not going to daven. So they're better. They should do this then because they're not coming back, or maybe not daven at all. People will forget later. Right? Correct. Some say a person later cannot daven, even decently. Later he has to 15 minutes at best. He only has a 15-minute period he'll be able to daven, and he'll be able to daven at a normal pace. Earlier, definitely. That's why is that any different than leaving? You have to travel. You have to go to work. You have to travel. It's the same thing. It has to be after dawn, but it has to be light enough that you can see one another. Let's say it's exactly dawn. Exactly dawn is too early to daven. That's not Yotzi L'derech. So let's say it'll be. No. Well, it is dawn, but it's yakir. Yakir means you could see a person, an acquaintance, at a distance of Dalan Amos. Slightly light. No, it's after dawn. It is after dawn. See, but the halacha is like this. Correct. See, but let me tell you. It's interesting. The halacha is Shmon Esrei. You could daven at dawn. Tals and Tefillin, you have to be able to recognize an acquaintance within Dalan Amos. So there, you're going to say the Shmon Esrei before Kriya Shema. Before Kriya Shema, you're going to say the Shmon Esrei. That's the case over there. That's what you're going to do. I mean, you're going to have to say Kriya Shema over again later. After Shmon Esrei, you're going to have to say Kriya Shema over again. And you're going to say the Shmon Esrei without tefillin. It's too early to put on tefillin. Because Yotzi L'derech. What? No, you're not permitted to put on tefillin at night. A person wants to put on tefillin at nighttime. Is he permitted? Doesn't make it. You're not permitted. There's always the Gzeir Shemi Yishan. You may fall asleep when it's dark. So, no, everybody. The right way is to do it. No, that they've done that, but it's definitely because there is a shita. It's still you're permitted. Right. It's out time, but if it's night, definitely you can't put on tefillin. You can't put on tefillin regardless, right? Because that's the nighttime period. Because there's a concern you may fall asleep. Look, Rav Henkin was arguing with Rav Moshe. Rav Moshe held it's 45 minutes before sunrise, and he held an hour. Rav Henkin, right? You could put it on already with a bracha. This is one of the things. Rav Henkin was of the opinion that in our bathrooms, if they're clean, if they're really clean, like usually a home bathroom, we're talking about where the toilet is down, closed. You could even say bracha there. You could wash, say Al Til Shnaim in the bathroom, where Moshe held that. You could wash there, but say bracha not. You walk outside, you wash and walk out. But Rav Henkin says even in the bathroom, as long as it's clean. No. There's a whole question because the bathroom represents Ruach Tumah. There's a contaminated spirit there, like if the person would want to wash. Let's say you'd have an outhouse where the waste is there. You're not even supposed to wash over there. I mean, the Hasidim are so machmir. The way they build their houses. You have the toilet, and you have the sink area. They have a door separating, even their homes, between where the toilet is and where the sink area is, where you wash. Yeah, it could be. It's different because the sink is used for other things. In our bathrooms, the sink, it's like one function. In Israel, they use that sink for other things also. So therefore, every time a person wants to use sink, he has to walk into the bathroom area. So therefore, they have a door separating that. But they do it because of Ruach Tumah. They hold there's Ruach Tumah there also. Therefore, they don't want to wash where there's a Ruach Tumah. So sometimes you have very limited space. When you come out of the bathroom, there's barely enough space to go out. I mean, it's such a confined area. No, it doesn't go out. No. It's that location. It's the location. Yeah. I'll give you an example. It's cited in Halacha. that you're not permitted to say bracha if there's waste, the feces. So it's decided in halacha. What about if you have a beis hakisa with this, right? And you want to say the bracha opposite the wall of the beis hakisa, the wall. So the halacha is the way it's brought. You're not permitted. You see the wall as the feces. So they differentiate. In those days, when people would do their bodily functions, it wasn't only where it would drop below subterranean. It was literally, it was on the ground. So because wall, so you saw, but today we don't have such a thing. There's not even the question. Right.
Maybe in that case,